let's just, I guess, go down a little bit of a fun spot here. Is there a possibility of horse contests? I mean, just some way, shape, or form. We're seeing so many NBA stars on Instagram live feeds to potentially connect these guys together for our viewing enjoyment. Brian?
Yeah, they've been working on that for a couple of weeks, and I think once they smooth out the tech, I do think that something like that could happen, and I think that will really be fun. Although, not everybody has courts to play on. I mean, I saw Giannis gave an interview last week where he said he doesn't have a court at his house. And I know that sounds crazy, but in Milwaukee, it's hard to go outside for much of the year.
Right.
And if you don't have an indoor, Giannis can afford an indoor gym, but not every NBA player is going to have it. I'm sure it was not something he thought was an issue, was getting a basketball hoop. So some of these guys would have to leave their house, and that's a whole other thing. So, yes, I do think that is something that can be done, and I've actually really enjoyed watching some of the old games. I know that that's not lasting very long for a lot of people, but I've enjoyed it. The real reality here is there's just so many things that to overcome. And I know that there's excitement about this report about baseball, and there's some excitement about this report about tests. And I am all for hope and optimism. I really hope it comes through. But one of the things that is a big factor for the NBA, Rich, is what is their willingness to bleed into next season? Because Adam Silver now twice has mentioned that he doesn't want to harm next season. And that creates an artificial backstop because I can kind of see it. If you're the NBA, you have damage to this year, significant damage. Do you want to, what is worse, damaging 2 seasons, taking major financial hits in 2 seasons, or limiting the damage to 1 season? That is a really big, complex question that is going to be a factor going forward here. Because in theory, Rich, you could restart the NBA in October and play the last month of the regular season, then play the playoffs, take off the holidays, and restart after the Super Bowl with another season. And there's nothing stopping you from doing that.
Right.
Except for the fact that it bastardizes the schedule and changes everything up, and so it may just be a function of the calendar and limiting the damage as much as fighting off the disease at this point.
Yeah, I'm Brian Windhorst here on the Rich Eisen Show. I mean, I forget who we were talking about it with, Chris, last week. That might have been Mark Stein, your colleague from the Times. That necessity could be the mother of invention. That there's a large group of individuals in the association, I guess Cuban being one of them, who thinks the league should start on Christmas Day anyway, and run through the summer. And you start reconfiguring when you do your draft in your summer league, and it's a better schedule for the NBA anyway. That might lead to the ability to start the next season. Not until then, might actually show a better way for the NBA in a post-coronavirus pandemic world. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that is true. And Adam Silver has even admitted that the calendar may look different after this. This is a crisis, but there can be some opportunities that arise from it. But, the one thing that is clear to me, while the NBA is working with health officials and working with laboratories on things, the discussions that they have had with their players, which they have to come up with a deal here, Rich, in the next few days, because the next paychecks are due April 15th, and the NBA doesn't intend to pay them all. And the NBA has the right within their contract to just quit paying the players altogether. They don't want to do that. They don't want to create an animus. But they've got to make a deal with their players. Major League Baseball already made a deal with their players. They've got to make a deal with their players about how they're going to go forward with this, how they're going to sort of set aside money to shelter the damage that's happening. And in my understanding, as they talk, the union and players, they're not talking about the restart. They're not talking about what parameters they would, be willing to play in. They're only talking about the finances. And I think that's a responsible thing to do. That's exactly what you should be doing to protect the league. But it's an indication of how far away they are from knowing how this is going to look.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.